join me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks. Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
Woo! Well, just like I promised, it is high time I finally did another review of Doctor Who. Tom Baker was admittedly a bit of a hard act to follow up on, so it took me a little while to really sink my teeth into Peter Davison. But once I got into the swing of it, it was just as fun and engaging, so let's take a look at the Fifth Doctor. The Fifth Doctor is fairly different from any of his predecessors, and I find it just really fascinating to see how the show evolved over time with each of the Doctor's regenerations. Most notably, of course, is that he is much younger than any of his previous regenerations, all of whom were some variation or other on the rich-looking old guy. I would speculate that this was so that they could try to draw in a younger crowd, but it's my understanding that Doctor Who was always kind of intended for younger audiences, so maybe they just wanted more of a teen heartthrob kind of character this time around. In which case, they got one. Peter Davison is young, handsome, polite, and gallant as they come. His Doctor is gentlemanly to a fault, though this does often mean that he is less of a take-charge sort of man than his predecessors. He's a bit less decisive, reactive rather than active, and feels more like a protective older brother to his companions rather than the more authoritative fatherly figure the previous Doctors can make. I can totally see him being an adolescent girl's geeky crush. He's just the right blend of sensitive, tragic, and experienced. Now, while he was certainly an interesting character to invest in, the writers for this particular era of the show are a little bit more hit and miss. Apparently, during the course of this Doctor, they wanted to freshen up the show with all new writers, some of whom were experienced with writing science fiction and others who were not. Now, this makes for some very, very good episodes. Oh my goodness, Caves of Androzani. And some less than stellar episodes. Oh, hello, King's Demons with your weird chameleon robot race. So your mileage will vary with the story writing here. Caves of Androzani might just be my favorite Doctor Who story yet, though. With its Shakespearean themes, alien drug lords, and Phantom of the Opera-esque villain. It allows the Doctor's caring and sensitive nature to really shine through against the backdrop of a drug-fueled political war, and it is full of all sorts of intrigue and drama. Also up there for great stories is Earthshock, which gives us a truly dramatic farewell to one of the lesser-loved companions, Adric, as well as revisiting the Cybermen a little bit. Speaking of Adric, I suppose I should discuss the companions from this era. I'm not really in the Adric hate club, and I really rather enjoyed what he brought to the show as the resident boy genius. He carries over from Tom Baker, of course, as do Nyssa and Tegan. I don't know that I really have one particular favorite companion from this era, but this era did do something a bit new with his companions that the previous eras didn't. That is, he generally has a lot of them at once, and they tend to function more like a team or a crew rather than a bunch of people thrown together by happenstance. That was in and of itself rather fun, even if it did mean that no companion tended to shine over the others for me. All in all, I think the only complaint I have from this era is that I would have liked to see a bit more consistency from the writing. Peter Davison was fun to follow along, even if he wasn't as ludicrously entertaining as Tom Baker or as in control as John Pertwee. He had a sort of charm about him that I enjoyed. I just wish that the hard science fiction was as pronounced here as it had been previously. The show seems to have left behind a lot of its weird fiction horror vibe at this point, so I hardly know what to expect from the future.
Change, my dear.
And that's it for my review of the Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do be sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you next week. Bye!